Hey everyone, I hope everyone had an amazing week this week. Let's first see how this week has gone. So what I wanted to talk about this week is, have curse words become so common that they've pretty much lost their shock value? I know I asked you guys this a couple of weeks ago and I got all your answers, and there's kind of an interesting thing that came around. It made me really think about what kind of situation and what kind of culture that we're living in now. And kind of like the idea that I was coming behind, does it surprise you when you hear or when you hear being thrown around all the time amongst each other, or when you hear it around adults? And there's pretty much a clear consensus when it came to that. To be honest, every single day I hear those words. Usually I hear it in the media, but oftentimes I do hear it at school among students. And to be completely honest, I'm surprised every single time I hear those words. However, what I've come to notice is that this is a specific type of culture that is prevalent in this area. Maybe that's not the culture that I'm used to. So I guess you could say, like, when I came to Jefferson, I've experienced a sort of a culture shock about what I'm used to and what I thought versus how it is at this campus. In the end, I don't think words are innately bad. It is usually going to be the meaning that we assign to specific words that is going to give us that particular meaning. But what it comes down to is, because words can have certain meanings to everyone, what we're trying to say is, if you don't know everyone around you, then you shouldn't be using those words unless you know everyone around you and you know that everyone is cool with them and you are all together in making that shared meaning. So what it comes down to is, I know that you don't know everyone in all your classes. You don't know the names of all the students. In some cases, you don't even know the name of the teacher, which, being February is kind of surprising. But you really need to take that into account. It's like, you don't know everyone around you, which that's what we're trying to get is, if you don't know everyone around you, should you really be using those words? And if you don't know everyone around you, I guess you could find yourself in a position where you lose certain opportunities because you've said the wrong thing around the wrong person. And that can happen where you're not aware of your surroundings and you say the wrong thing and that person overhears you and it becomes an altercation with that person. I guess another thing that I've been thinking about when it comes to curse words is, what are you supposed to say when you're angry if you use those words all the time? What I'm thinking is, if you're always using those words and then you want to use them in anger and you want to call someone a then that person suddenly, it doesn't have that same impact in that situation if you're calling them in anger, because you use it all the time and when you're not using it in anger. So I think kind of what we might try to do in that situation is try to compensate and show and express our anger by raising our voice and changing our tone. And as soon as you do that, usually people aren't going to listen to the words that you're trying to say. They're going to listen to your tone, and at that point it doesn't really matter what words you're saying. So what kind of situation should you be using those words? And if you're raising your voice, instantly everyone tunes you out. And then again, the anger that you're expressing is not being communicated to those that you want to express it to. I really want you guys to think about these two questions. First, if you think curse words are fine, why don't you use them when you're writing essays? Why don't you use them with your teachers? Why don't you use them when you're trying to fill out forms when you're trying to get a job? So why don't you do that if you think these words are fine? Second, I want you guys to think about a situation where there's this job that you really want, and just the job entails that you have to wear a tie or dress up every single day. And that's the type of job that you really, really want to get. And you go in for an interview. Would you be using these curse words that you're saying are so common and just part of your natural vocabulary? Would you use those curse words in an interview for that job. This job that you really, really want, where it's very professional. It's kind of at that second level of kind of just like a workmanship kind of job. Do you want to use those words in that interview? Why not? Or why do you want to use those words? I want you all to know that, yes, I used those words in the past, but when I became a freshman in college, I made the conscious choice to stop using those words because I wanted to really express myself using my words, and I think that's kind of apparent in the videos that I make and even in my photography a little bit, because I really want to express who I am and what I'm trying to get through to you guys using clear words. If I'm using the same words all the time, then I don't think the message is clear because you guys aren't exposed to the right vocabulary. To be honest, I've used those words in anger once or twice. That's where I'm coming from. But people who know me and heard those words come out of my mouth understood the anger I was expressing because I was using those words. They understood the type of anger and the feelings and emotions that I was expressing to them because I don't use those words ever. So one thing that I noticed about me when I stopped using curse words is that certain situations that might have made me feel angry or resentful before, they have not caused me to be as angry because I feel like I have to express myself perfectly in those situations. I can't just go relying on these curse words that are going to have less meaning. So I want you to be very conscious about how you're expressing yourself to others. You don't know every situation, you don't know every person, and you should be cognizant about those around you. And respect one another. That's always going to be the big thing, is respect one another. I know you're not meaning it in a disrespectful way, but if you're not trying to understand others, you're also not respecting them in who they are as a person. I'm not trying to change your minds or anything. I'm not trying to say you're supposed to act in a certain way, but I just want to kind of listen to both sides of this kind of scenario. Thank you for staying with me for another week. I hope everyone had a fantastic week and had a fantastic weekend. I'm looking forward to the next week that we have together. So my name is Mr. Hernandez. Keep working hard. Stay safe.